Candy Bar, and you're watching Salty Trivia. I've only slept 9 hours over the past 4 days, so I'm right on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Ugh, I love my sandwich. That was my cue card. Does your friends not want to play this with you, or do you have no friends? Before we dive into it, alright, let's work for me. Let's put this into motion with full of bull. If I decided to fill up an empty stomach with nothing but Red Bull, like I did earlier this week, how many 8.3 ounce cans can I expect to chug? 2.4 cans, 3.8 cans, 5.1 cans, or 6.9 cans? And the big reveal? Just 2? Come on, get your belly in the game! Oh, you've been wanganumbed! Not nice. The human stomach can expand out to about a quart, which is 32 fluid ounces. You can fit 4 cans of bull in there if you really try. Where I come from, that's called completely normal finals week behavior. Are you ready for this? Swinging from red vines. I've got another Laffy Taffy bar right on the podium here, which is convenient for a fix of bad jokes and processed sugar. What do you call rabbits hopping backwards in a row? A receding hairline. So that's a thing. Well, based on the social habits of hares, how many hairs would most likely be in that receding hairline? Just 2 or 3? Alright, shush, this is important. Missed it by a hair. Your guess was lopsided. That was quite the optimistic guess, but putting 20 hairs in one place would spell disaster. Hares are solitary creatures, living by themselves or with a partner, so we'd have just the bare minimum needed to form a line. 2 hairs. Maybe a third one if they're feeling frisky. I don't have to worry about a receding hairline anytime soon, fortunately, but considering that my dad and both my grandpas went bald, I might not be safe for much longer. I'm feeling a little lightheaded already. Can you handle this? Ready or not? Here comes a sorta kinda. I'm gonna give you 7 names. For each of them, I need you to tell me if it's a way to tie a necktie or a way to hold someone down in wrestling. If it's a necktie knot, press left. If it's wrestling hold, press right. One last rule, you can't use a lifesaver. Let's sort. Half Nelson. Half Windsor. Fishhook. Cloverleaf. 4 in hand. Trinity. Double chicken wing. You wear clip-ons, don't you? No amount of fixing could have gotten you a decent score. That was like tying a full Windsor without practice. You could almost do it, but it ended up messy. Knockout! You deserve the champion belt, sport. I have some unused options. Prince Albert, Pratt, Krasny Hourglass, Front Chancery. Only one of them is a wrestling move and you'll never know which. Your food for thought. OSHA violation. Which of these seas is an actual sea that connects to other seas, not a lake that's compensating for something? The Aral Sea, the Baltic Sea, the Caspian Sea, or the Dead Sea? This is gonna be good. Nope, Aral's an error. The Dead Sea is the saltiest lake in the world. The only thing that's saltier is me. Please do better next time. The Baltic Sea, located between Sweden, Poland, and Estonia, is connected to the Atlantic Ocean. The rest of them are posers. Those damn lakes trying to pretend they're a sea. It's like if I claim to be a good actor. Hey, who did my cue card to say that? I'm going to inconvenience your family. You're making me just so salty and lightheaded. Everything's... Ugh.
Hello? Candy? You okay? She fainted.
Oh my god, I knew this would happen someday, but geez, on the second episode? And I keep telling her not to stay up all night snorting energy drinks before we have a show on. Now I have to deal with an unconscious gremlin and get her some medical care. Or I could just leave her in the back room and host the rest of this game. Yeah, I think I'll have to do that. She left her cue cards on the podium. Hey interns, could a couple of you carry her to the green room? She should only be like 50 kilograms.
Yes, Mr. Stone.
You can just call me Miles. I'm gonna have to scold her for this. Ahem. Welcome to the game. I'm Miles Stone, the producer. Did you know that Candy drafts most of these questions? It makes the writing process much easier. Of course, we have to filter some of them for having too much salt. The next question's called, She's Just Not My Typography. Which of these tabloid headlines objectifies Tittles? Top 12 letters with bodacious curves. E and H, open wide. F and I scandal, are they dating? Or are those firm round dots real? Your choices are locked in. That would be an aperture. What you're thinking about is a ligature. Curves are sexy, but not always right. A tittle is a dot on the lowercase I and j, or any similar single dot mark. I'm sure that article would titillate their audience. Man, the stuff you can get away with on TV these days. The next question's called, Is a truckload of people just 2 people? On average, how many people are in a metric ton of people? 16 people, 69 people, 280 people, or 1,400 people? Let's see your choices. Do you not know what a ton is, or do you not know what literally means? I'm afraid not. You should grow up. You and Candy both. The average person weighs 62 kilograms or 137 pounds. A metric ton is about 16 times that, at 1,000 kilograms or 2,205 pounds. Of course, the answer is going to be 15 or 14 people if you're weighing people in Mexico. No, really, they have the highest rate of obesity. That's it for round 1, but we'll be back in the next round where point values will be doubled. I can't believe this is happening. Welcome back to Salty Trivia. Andy is still recovering backstage, so I, the producer, will be continuing to host the game, but hopefully not for long. I'm not a big fan of public speaking. Did I mention that point values are doubled in round 2? I'm sure you already know, but I'm just making sure. Remember, lifesavers are there to help you. Use them wisely. A lifesaver will give you more time to answer and eliminate 2 of the options. But this is the last round you can use your lifesaver, so that means you have to use it by question 12. You can press the L or R button to activate that useful function. The next question's called, I'm an owl at the size of this thermometer. I can't do a Scottish accent. Oh well. Academically speaking, which one of these is an absolute unit? Degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Rankine, or degrees Réaumur? Now for the validation. Celsius goes below 0 on a winter day, so no. On a particularly cold day in Tallahassee, Florida in 1899, the temperature went below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not an absolute unit. Réaumur is like Celsius, but the boiling point of water is 80 instead of 100. Did you just pick this because you've never heard of it? 0 Rankine is absolute 0, the coldest temperature physically possible. The difference between Rankine and Kelvin is that a change of 1 Rankine is 1 degree Fahrenheit, not Celsius. I guess the moral is, stay positive? I can't do it like Candy does. She left the wisecrack empty on this cue card. The next question's called Breath of the Wild. How many links tall is Link from the Legend of Zelda series? Link is 2 to 3 links tall, Link is 8 to 9 links tall, Link is 30 to 40 links tall, Or, Link is 160 to 180 links tall. Now for the validation. I'm sorry, that's not it. That would make him about as tall as a garden gnome, but I can understand your confusion. You're thinking of centimeters, not links. A link, the unit, is 20.1 centimeters, or 7.9 inches. Since Link, the hero, is a young adult male of average height in most incarnations, a reasonable height for him would be 8 to 9 links tall, which is 160 to 180 centimeters, or 5'3" to 5'11". All these unit questions read by a man named Miles Stone. Did Candy plan to faint? The next question's called An Island by Any Other Name. Whoa, this is huge! It's the 1,000 question question. A 1,000 question is worth 1,000 normal questions, but the value gets lower and lower the longer you wait, and only the first person to answer gets the prize. Oh, and you can't answer until the options appear on the screen. Start your engines because the time starts now. In what island in Wales is Lunafair? What the hell is this word?
What year is it?
Candy, good to see you're up and running again. Now, what did I tell you about caffeine-fueled all-nighters?
That I'm young enough to tank them.
That's not... Never mind. Do you know how to pronounce this?
Oh, that? It's Shanvai Pushkringelsko girlfriend Dobel Santisilio Gogogoch.
Clanva... What?
Shan, Fire, Push, Win, Gish.
Screw this. Read this question for me.
I mean, that's what I'm hired to do anyway. Give me the cue card. There. Okay. In what island in Wales did Shanvai Pushkringelsko girlfriend Dobel Santisilio Gogogoch? Anglesey, Scomer, Cardigan, or St. Catharines? I'll tell the puffins there you said hi. Warmer. Warmer? No, you're cold. You need a cardigan. What? Hi, it's Candy. Just checking on that answer again. Uh-huh, thanks. Wrong answer. The Isle of Anglesey is in the northwest of Wales, and it's home to Llanfair PG, as the locals call it. Also, make sure you don't travel to Llanfair if you have recently gotten human ultramicroscopic silica volcanoconiosis.
How does she do that?
On your left-hand side, you can see deflecting attacks with sick jams. I'm gonna give you a silly phrase whose syllables... Without further ado, let's begin. With what TV trope does this rhyme? Bard, parrying, chillin'. I'm proud and professional, this kind of character might say. About being a bad guy and doing evil deeds. So please, take my business card. If you're gonna be a bad guy, why not be upfront with it and be a professional? A reliable business partner. A bard parrying chillin'. I see you, I see you. I mean, Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated needs more business partners too. Want me to give you their email address? Here's your next category. A health checkup. Hey, are you hydrated? Yeah, 25% of me is water. Yeah, 40% of me is water. Yeah, 55% of me is water. Or yeah, 70% of me is water. Here's the tea. What? You're drowning. What? Drink some hydrolyte, stat! That's a big mood. The ideal body water percentage is somewhere around 55%. Actually, let me just take a quick water break. Apparently I sweated really hard while I was out. I'm definitely gonna have to change out of these clothes. Let's move on to Don't Sell Yourself Short. Suppose my producer Miles got tired of my whining. Considering what two drinks are mixed to make a wine cooler, what would he dump on my head to cool my whining? Wine in sparkling water, wine in iced tea, wine in beer, or wine in fruit juice? To set the record straight, beer before liquor, never been sicker. Beer with liquor, it might kill you quicker. I believe that's called gas station champagne. You used your lifesaver on this question. Now's your chance to answer. None of you got it. A wine cooler is a mixture of wine and fruit juice, though sugar or soda can be used as well. And because I inherited my mom's weak Japanese liver, just a wine cooler or two is enough to get me vomiting. I know, because that's exactly how I found out I have low alcohol tolerance. You've made it to the sugar rush. For each of the 6 sections, select only the options that match that description. 1 point gain for each right answer or omission, but 1 point lost for each wrong answer or omission. Only choose matches that fit this topic. Been there, not born there. Which world hoppers are not from the wonderful place in question? That's all for this episode of Salty Trivia. I hope you learned a thing or two today. Because I sure as hell didn't.